Today I'm going to share some of my favourite movements of all 8 extraordinary vessels together. The first vessel is very much our connection with the present, stepping. So it's quite nice to really exaggerate your walking movement, really feel the connection with our hips and just be quite present. Really kind of tap your heel, but now starting to add in your arms and tap your heel. Sometimes they are called the heel vessels, the Chao, the yin and the yang. So we'll just tap a little bit, but maybe you want to gradually slow down. So as you slow down, feel the connection with your feet and the earth, and your feet and your hips. And then you might even just want to stop for a moment. So although they're called the stepping vessels, it's also how we stand and when we're not stepping. So maybe even just close your eyes for a moment. That's going much more into the yin, and just feel this inner connection with yourself, how you feel simply just standing and breathing, and perhaps placing a hand on your heart and a hand over your palace, your reproductive organs, and just be for a moment. And then opening your eyes. You might even want to put your 2 fingers on the inside corner of the eyes. That's the last point on the yin and the yang stepping vessels, bladder 1. And as we open our eyes, it brings us into a different awareness. And we have a choice whether to just be still, whether to move quite quickly, or whether just to simply rock forwards and backwards. Maybe if we do this, we could put our hands on our hips, front of our hips, and then into the back a bit, and feel the connection with our hips. And we might even want to just turn a little bit, just swiveling, because as we walk, we might change directions. But having your eyes open and being really aware of the space around you, constantly adapting. That's what we're doing with the stepping vessels. Constantly adapting, using your eyes, relaxing your neck and shoulders, even while you have your hands on your hips. But then you could just swing a little, rotating around the center, really taking in your environment, the rhythm that you want to be connected, what's going on in the space around you, and maybe even just walk for a little bit. Sometimes simply just walking and being present really can help calm our whole nervous system. Stepping. But I also want to just do a couple of balances, because that's another way to really reset our nervous system. If you step on one foot, but now close your eyes, feel your body adjusting, and then place a foot down. This is easier to do on a flat surface. I'm actually on a futon, which makes it a bit harder, but just with your eyes closed, find it much more wobbling, but you're more aware of what's inside. That's the yin stepping. And now notice how you might feel different from when I first got you to close your eyes. And now open them again. And this time become a bit more aware of your arms, because the stepping vessels bring energy in from the earth to our heart, and our arms are more, or the linking vessels, are more about how we open into the space from our heart. So we can place our hands on our breasts, breathe in and open up our arms into space, maybe even taking our head back and then gathering back in. This is the rhythm of the linking vessels, opening up and gathering in. So it's very much opening up our heart and then drawing back into our heart. And it's reminding us that although we're in a human body and we walk around, we still have a memory of space, and we share this space with the birds. And so we might want to just gently do a few movements of opening up our wings, opening into space, releasing our neck and shoulders, releasing a little bit even into our hips, and just opening up and being a bit like a bird, exploring our bird-like nature. Maybe even coming up and balancing, or just doing simple bird-like movements, QiGong type movements where we lift up a leg. Or also lightly feeling our connection with the earth and the heaven, and coming back to our heart, bringing a hand down, feeling a light connection to the earth and balancing it with a connection to heaven. Relaxing your arms, maybe looking down to the earth, crossing the midline, going down to the earth, and then this time looking up to heaven and gathering back to your heart, and then going down to the earth and looking up to heaven. The linking vessels, which bring back to a point on the conception and the governing vessel. We've opened up and then we come back in to our midline. Conception vessel 22, the celestial pathway and governing vessel at the back of our head. And so we want to bring back to our midline. And we can do this, midline of the front of our body, midline of the back of our body, conception and governing. We just curl down. As we curl down, we gather back in, relaxing our head, neck and shoulders, feeling our spine, feeling a centralizing movement, a centering movement, and just breathing slowly and deeply, drawing the energy of the space into our body. And then slowly, when you're ready, feel a connection with your lumbar spine, Ming Men, gate of life, and slowly coming up from Ming Men between the second and the third lumbar vertebrae, feeling your whole spine, gradually coming to an upright position. That's a really lovely way of simply releasing through the governing and conception vessel. And now we'll come a bit more into a stiller movement that connects us more with the penetrating vessel, which is each side of the centre line, following the kidney meridian, but has this very important branch way going down to the earth. Conception and governing stop at the perineum. Penetrating vessel continues down, so this is also a balancing one. Standing on one leg, but we'll have our eyes open. Feel that stretch in this leg. It's actually down the stomach meridian, earthing, and a lot across your pubic bone. Maybe even hold your pubic bone for a moment. See if you can find the two little dips about 2 thumb widths each side. It helps to send energy down to the earth, or just hold your pubic bone. Feel that grounding quality of the penetrating vessel, putting roots down, and then bring a hand to the inner wing of your heart, holding your heart, and then just open up your heart. Heart 1 is in the armpit, opening up your heart meridian, and this is really what the penetrating vessel is linking all together. Our connection to the earth through earth meridians, and opening of our heart through the heart meridian. And then we can come back to our heart, and we can come back to earth with the other leg. We can pause for a moment, being quite centered. Maybe feel the difference between that and the stepping vessels, a more deeper grounding into the earth. And then we can swap to the other side, maybe even holding the inside of the big toe. That's a spleen point. Connecting with our heart, connecting with our pubic bone once more, and then with our heart, and then opening up our heart to open up to heaven, to the sky, to space. Penetrating vessel. And finding that deep connection into the earth. And around the penetrating vessel, both within our physical body, but also in the space, is the girdle vessel, which in some ways we say could link all together, because our pelvis influences our connection to earth and heaven. Putting your hands just in front of your anterior superior iliac spines and just moving, a bit what we did with the stepping vessels, because I want to show the connections between the vessels. Moving your pelvis, swiveling on your heel. So feeling how it moves into your legs and is connected with the stepping, and how it moves from your chest into your arms. But then we're going to do a stronger version. I'll break this down for you, where we can actually now slowly bring one hip across your body and your arms looking the other way, and just do that a few times, because the girdle vessel, I contain and I release. So this is that releasing what you no longer need from your pelvis, from your heart as well, and from your legs. You can do this quite slowly, so you're turning your head in the direction of your hands, but you can do it more quickly, more vigorously, and then you can slow the movement down. Feel the difference between the left and the right side of your hips, left and right legs, left and right sides of your heart, and then do the movement the other way. Maybe even with quite a strong release breath, releasing from your pelvis, from your heart, from your shoulders, from your feet. And then slowly coming back to the center, to standing. And I love how the girdle vessel can help contain all of the other vessels, and has the movement of infinity. The infinity symbol, an 8 on its side. Just spiral with your hips, connecting with governing and conception vessel, the midline. Spiraling around, imagine you have a pillar or a pole inside your body, and you spiral around, both releasing and gathering at the same time. And then you can gently spiral in the other direction. Sometimes one way feels easier than the other way. Spiral, relaxing your head, neck and shoulders, and then just slowly come to resting. Just pausing with your eyes open, feeling how your body is. And so now I'm going to show you, continue the exercises on all fours. So on all fours, our stepping vessels are much more relaxed, but we can just tap a little bit. Even when we're on all fours, it's a lot what babies do to strengthen their stepping vessels before they become upright. So just tapping your stepping vessels, toes, feet, and maybe try it with your eyes closed and then with your eyes open. And then we'll take our hand, our wings, and with our wings we can gather in to our heart. So this is the linking vessels. And then we can extend our legs, so we get the stepping, extending, heel down to earth, connecting with Ming Men in our lower back, supporting our pelvis, our center, and our arm like our wing, reaching through. So we round our back and gather back in to the midline with both the stepping and the linking. And then we can breathe in and extend. Breathing out, gathering back to conception and governing. Breathing in, feeling the space, feeling the opening of our heart. Feeling a different connection to the earth through our foot. We could even do it a little bit more like a wing, opening up into space. For that you might actually want to drop your knee and support and then come back. And so we'll do that on the other side. Gathering the linking and the stepping in, extending out. Gathering in and extending out. And then being more like a bird and then gathering back in. Like the bird opening out into space, feeling the lightness. And then we gather back in. We can feel also the girdle vessel now, feeling your pelvis between your hip and your pelvis, just shortening this side. And then as you breathe in, come back to conception and governing. And then as you breathe out again, go to the other side. So now this side is lengthening, my left side lengthening, and my right side shortening. Breathe in, governing conception. Breathing out, the pelvis, girdle. So really engaging your pelvis as you do this movement. Maybe engaging your pelvic floor on the out breath. And feel the release with the in breath. And we bring it all back to governing in conception, just rocking gently forwards and backwards. Well, this is also connecting with penetrating vessel at the same time, because as we go back, we can sit on our feet. We could even go into the child pose, feeling our feet, but feeling the opening in our heart, in our armpit, the penetrating vessel linked with conception and governing. And as we come forward, we might want to just slightly hollow our lower back and open up our breath, our breast, our chest, and then come back. So we can see the interconnection between conception and governing and penetrating in this movement. Hollow your lower back as much or as little as is comfortable. And then just coming to the cat position, also very good for conception and governing, really rounding your lower back on the out breath. On the in breath, hollowing your lower back and again opening up your chest. Conception, governing and penetrating. Feeling the space, really opening up to the spaciousness of the conception and the governing, and then sinking onto your heels. And feeling a different quality of earthing through the penetrating vessel, as we're not just connecting with the earth through our feet, but through our whole leg, through our chest, through our breasts, and through our brain, and just pausing. Sitting, it's quite nice to be having the soles of your feet together, kidney one, penetrating vessel. And we're having a connection with our sacrum and pelvis. We can gently rock from side to side, if that's comfortable, to release our pelvis and our hips. Girdle vessel, but linked with governing, conception and penetrating. Connecting with our heart. And then we can extend our legs, tucking out our heels, maybe exercising the stepping vessels a little bit, reaching up to heaven, bringing the energy of heaven down to our feet. This helps connect with all of the vessels. We feel our spine, we feel our chest and our heart, and we just soften into this forward leaning position. If you can't touch your feet, hold your ankles or your thighs, because it's really important that you are focusing essentially on the movement of your spine, governing and conception vessel. I'll show that in the side position as well. That's why I like to come up feeling heaven, feeling a nice alignment in my spine, and then just hinging from my pelvis, engaging my abdominal muscles, trying to keep my heart open. Maybe even like this can feel good, but if you can hold your feet, connect with kidney 1 or bladder 62, kidney 6, the ankles, that's the stepping vessels, or maybe even further up. And then to finish off, connecting up to heaven and just coming into lying on your back, where you can just rest. You might want to just open up your heart and your breast and your connection to heaven, and just lie down, feeling the earth on your back supporting you, feeling the front of your body open to heaven, and just rest as long as you want, connecting with your heart, letting your brain be supported by the earth, letting your kidneys and your palaces also be supported, and feel the inner flows of the extraordinary vessels. Thank you for sharing this practice with me.